Greetings, good morning, and thank you for inviting me to speak on this day when we celebrate and pay tribute to the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. This Martin Luther King Day comes after one of the most tumultuous and unprecedented years of our lives. 2020 unearthed many of the worst parts of our nation's history: the racial strife, health inequities, inequities in the criminal justice system, and social injustices that Dr. King marched and fought against more than 60 years ago confronted us once more. The issues that plagued the African American community for decades, which many of us have had the privilege to ignore, were laid bare for the world to see because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic truly shook us to our core. It showed us the vulnerabilities of our country, community, and ourselves. We witnessed the closing of businesses, skyrocketing unemployment rates, and an unacceptable loss of American lives. We saw this pattern across the country and right here in Monroe County. And not surprisingly, this burden disproportionately impacted our African American neighbors and friends. What would Dr. King say? We will never know. What we do know is that more than 50 years after his death, the struggles of the African American community that he so valiantly gave his life for continue today. But in 1956, during a sermon he gave at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, Dr. King was clear. He stated, "Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle." Undoubtedly, our African American community has endured much struggle, and the COVID-19 pandemic and the deaths of George Floyd, Daniel Prude, and so many others were more than any community should have to bear. But through the struggle, we found opportunities for change, and 2021 will usher in those changes. I am working with Sheriff Todd Baxter to execute the Governor's executive order on police reform and reintervention plan to ensure that law enforcement works in a way that reflects community values. Last June, we joined Mayor Lovely Warren in the city of Rochester to announce the creation of the Commission on Racial and Structural Equity. The commission was formed to specifically examine and recommend changes to local laws that uphold systems of inequity across our county. With the help of hundreds of Monroe County residents, the commissioners will identify actionable policy changes to be made in the sectors of education, housing, mental health, healthcare, human services, policing, criminal justice, job creation, and business development. Very shortly, the commissioners will release the report, and I will take action on changes I have the power and authority to make. In July, I announced the creation of a newly created County Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, a first of its kind in Monroe County history. This office will be led by our Chief Diversity Officer, also a newly created position. That department will spearhead efforts to diversify our workforce, review contracting and procurement procedures, and combat all forms of bias and unequal treatment in our government. We have not delayed efforts in diversifying leadership in my first year and will continue to be deliberate in those efforts. Over the last few months, we have opened several free COVID testing sites and have administered more than 17,000 tests. In partnership with the City of Rochester and 3 of our towns, we have set up sites and located in communities most impacted by the pandemic, many of which are in our communities of color. We are ensuring these sites can be easily accessed by those residents impacted the most. We are also working diligently to open our vaccine pods, and with the help of our community partners, we are ensuring that vaccines are distributed equitably across our county. These are real, concrete steps that we are taking to ensure Monroe County becomes an actively anti-racist community that embraces diversity and inclusion, and more changes are going to come. In the next 2 days, we will witness a historic event. Part of Dr. King's dream realized when we inaugurate the first Black and Asian woman as Vice President of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration promises to usher in reforms and progressive actions that our county will benefit from. So on this day, we look back at the progress we're making in county government, but also look ahead to the steps we need to take to become an equitable and inclusive community for all, because our work is just beginning. Today, we remember Dr. King's dream for his children to one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. No matter how long it takes, we will work to make that dream come to life, no matter who you are, where you live, the zip code you grew up in, who you love, the God you pray to, or the color of your skin. Once again, thank you for having me join you here today. While we're not able to do this year's event in person, I look forward to when this pandemic is all behind us and we're all able to be together again. Thank you. God bless and be well.